Okay, so a couple days later, I feel good enough to start working on this guy. Yeah, in this case, I need to replace the front hub, mainly because the wheel is in a very good condition, and I think I could reuse it. And yeah, the bearing housing is not in the best condition. I'm gonna show you a picture right there because I couldn't just take a nice video shot from here. Basically, how do I identify this issue? Well, the same as with the bottom bracket. You need to spin the wheel. You can do it within the bike. Not right now because I have removed all the little balls that you have in there. And when I was trying to spin it in the bike, you could see that there was some friction in there and some funny noise. So I managed to disassemble it all. And there is another picture there. You could see how was the condition of this little coated balls. And yeah, so right now I'm about to replace it. How am I going to do this? Well, first of all, I need to remove the spokes. I am planning to label them basically, or put them in a certain order, because I don't have a spoke tension meter, and I think, yeah, it's given the use of this wheel, I think it would be nice to keep the same distribution as it was before. So for that, I'm gonna make a little mark right here. So this is going to be my first spoke, then second, third, fourth, blah blah blah. Then you need to take into consideration that this spoke lays right at this point here, and the second one lays 5 positions counterclockwise from the first one. And then what I would do is, with some masking tape, I will just place it right here where the nipple starts, so at least I have a reference of what will the tension be. One more thing to consider before starting is the orientation of the hub. This is the side where the brake disc goes. This is going to be, I'm gonna call it the front side, and the other one the rear. Why? Well, because this spoke here, the first one, I don't think you can see it properly, but it goes right to the rear side of the hub. The second one goes to the front, so my labeling will go 1 rear, 2 front, 3 rear, 4 front. Alright, all finished. You can see all of them perfectly labeled, and the straight side of the tape is touching the nipple, so I hope this method will work. I have never done this before. One extra thing to remember is that on the rear side, what I call the rear, let's say all the spokes that go close to the floor right now, so these spokes here are all the odd numbers, 1, 3, 5, 7, and so on. How are they placed? Well, if you have the first one here, okay, is placed first, and then right behind is the third one. Whereas for even numbers, 2, 4, 6, you have first the second one is placed right below the next one, so it's the other way around. But if you look from the inside, it's always the same. So now it's time to remove the rim tape. I think I'm gonna replace it because it's been already too long and it looks a bit torn. Rim tape out. You can see it on the right and left hand side of the screen. And now we have here where the holes are, there is a bit of aluminum oxide, but I haven't noticed any damage, or yeah, I think it's just okay. I'm gonna clean it and proceed. I also wanted to take a look where the rim circumference is connected. You see that line in there? It's just okay. You can see after cleaning it, this rim is in a very good condition. It's not bent, it's nothing, it's just not even scratched. So yeah, I think this also supports my arguments of reusing it. Alright, as I can see, for spokes 1 and 3, they are positioned this way, and with a screwdriver you can remove the screw it's right in there, which you cannot really see right now, but you can see it here. Alright, once they are out, you have a pair of spokes out, so you just need to, they are crossed, so just untie them and they become loose. Alright, and then you can remove it. I'm gonna follow the same with all of them. This is getting messy. You can see here how there is in the thread there is a lot of aluminum oxide. So because the spoke is made of stainless steel, so my advice here is to take a flat tip screwdriver. It would be nice if it has a wide tip, and just with a lot of patience just try to unscrew it from the top. Spokes out. Now I have to deal with that mess. And I need to remove the labels because otherwise they don't fit through the hole. So yeah, apart from a lot of aluminum oxide or rust, let's call it that way, nothing else, no problem. By the way, I had to mark, I made here a mark F from front that should correspond to the side of the front brake disc. In the end, I got all of them out of that front hub. It's very time consuming, let's say it that way. This is the old front hub. You can see it by the marks. Right there, yes. This is the new one that's going in. This has already all the ball bearings inside, but what I'm doing is also, just for information, measuring the weight of all these individual components on the wheels, something I've never done, so just in case it's interesting. Here I am again. I'm just taking breaks. I think this is a very time consuming job and you can get very impatient like I am getting sometimes, so I prefer to leave it aside and just take my lovely time to do this. The only one that's going to enjoy is me. Okay, so I had to trim down the labels. As you can see here, this is 3 rear, for example, because they couldn't fit through the holes when I was removing all the spokes. Right now what I'm doing is just trying to position this one. I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I think what I'm going to try to do, since I have my reference here, I know the first one goes here. I remember when the brake disc, this 6-hole shape, it should be at the top. Okay, and then you have the first spoke here, then you have the first spoke here, it should go something like here, and the third one, remember they're at the rear, so they should be going through the holes on the rear side of the hub, and they should be crossing as far as I know. So I'm gonna just do the first one because I think it's going to be much easier for me, and once I figure out, I will just try to do this side first, then continue with the rear side, and then from the front on the front side. Let's see how it goes. Half an hour later, to do 14 spokes. It is something. It's a learning curve. It's the first time I'm doing it, and I actually like it. It's once you know the mechanics, I mean, it's a very repetitive process. What I did is, based on my previous comments, this is my spoke number 1, 3, 5, 7. Remember, all the odd ones I said they're gonna be on the rear side of the hub. That's good. Then I placed the first one here, follows to this point. And what I didn't mention is, for example, for this wheel, it doesn't matter, but you should change it. This you see the top of the spoke here. Okay, you don't see the spoke coming out from the hole, just going through the hole. This spoke here is coming out the hole this way, and this one is going through the hole on the rear side. This is the first one. The third one should be 5 positions from the first one. So the first one is here. Should be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 here. This is my 5th position. It's here. And remember, from this side, you should see the first spoke goes first, and then you see, and then right behind should be the third one. What I didn't mention is what happened next. We have our first spoke here, all right, and for our what's going to be the distance in holes for our 5th spoke, which will be equal to the first one. So we have the first position here, so 1, then we have 2, and then we have 3. This is the 3rd position forward or clockwise. You will have the 5th one. The same happens to the 7th one. If you go to the 3rd spoke, let's follow it. All right, then we do 1, 2, 3 clockwise, and you can see how it goes right here. You end up doing this in half an hour. So I think I'm gonna go and jump to the... Yes, and that's it. You got the video effect and I got the work. That thing took me around 1 hour and a bit more. So yeah, now it's next step. But one more thing is, I told you how to place the ones on the rear side, but for the front one, the big question is, where do we start? So if you just, let's focus on the first one, this one. So you know it's hard to see now. It's actually this little one here. For the second one, because it moves forward, well, you should move forward too, and it's symmetrical, so it will be this one. These holes on the top, they always lay in between the 2 holes on the rear one. So you always move to the next one. So don't go to this one, just go to this one and start the second one, which is this one. You see, first, second. I hope it's clear.